Hell of a night. Attendance was 14,485. Sold out. The gate was 2.45 million. Highest grossing sporting event in the arena's history. Highest gate ever for a U.S. fight night. And basically, we gave 8 bonuses for finishes. And plus, Bellator and Ihor gave them fight of the night. So $500,000 tonight in bonuses for everybody. Badass card. They all deserve it.
I feel like you're getting more generous with those these days.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crazy event, like you said.
Why not? How do you not tonight? Imagine sitting back there and looking at each other and going, who do you give the bonuses to? And giving it to only 4 guys, you know, fight of the night. And because there was a fight of the night tonight, clearly. And then so many great performances. I mean, when people perform, fuck it. Let's give it to them.
Let's talk about the main event first. Arman's knockout of Beneil. I don't think we've ever seen anyone do Beneil like that quickly, you know.
100%.
What do you make of his talent, his potential in that division, and his performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the co-main and main event came out and absolutely delivered. And, you know, you don't see people do that to Bobby Green either. And, yeah, incredible. I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, obviously, we don't know what Arman's going to do next necessarily, but if him and Islam do fight somewhere like Abu Dhabi, how big do you think that fight could be?
Big. Yeah, it's a great stylistic matchup. That's a great fight.
Yeah. You mentioned the Bobby Green knockout. Yeah. Great by Jaden Turner, but referee, not so great.
Yeah. One of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, he's been around for a while. He's a fairly solid ref. What do you think that can be attributed to? So
the difference is, you know, we've had some refs say some dumb shit in the past, like, oh, I allowed her to be a warrior tonight, and goofy shit like that. He knows that he made a mistake tonight, and he does not feel good about it. So, yeah.
Is that just like the heat of the moment?
It's unfortunate. Is he what?
Is that just the heat of the moment, you think? He just didn't notice? It looked like Bobby was...
You'd have to ask him that question, but, yeah. Definitely a bad stoppage.
Figueiredo at bantamweight looked good. Solid performance against Rob Font. Do you think, as a former champion, you can put him in there in the title picture right away, or do you want to see him work his way up that?
Tonight was a big night for him. I don't know how you guys felt, but I know a lot of people felt Rob Font was too big for him and hits too hard for him. And he went in and it looked great tonight.
A couple things outside of tonight I wanted to ask you about. You got UFC 296 coming up in a couple of weeks. It's an amazing card to end the year. Curious how excited you are for that fight between Colby and Leon, and how insane do you think that press conference is going to be?
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. You know, yeah, it's going to be a fun fight. And I mean, this is one of those fights where, you know, when everybody's calling looking for tickets and everybody, it's going to be a big night. It's going to be fun.
You said on the Nelt Boys podcast that you're working on a potential super fight. Is that something special for UFC 300, or is it just a fight you're putting together?
Just a fight that's going to happen, could potentially happen in 24. And everybody's blowing me up asking me who it is.
And who is it?
Hey, Dana.
Hi.
I got a couple for you. This week we saw Bobby Green and Arman kind of get into it in the hallway of the hotel. When did you find out about that? And, you know, was there any conversations with either side of them?
I've been on the road for like 2 weeks, so I think I found out. I was just in Boston. I found out when I was in Boston. Shit happens, man. This stuff, somebody caught that on film, and it got out. You guys have no idea how much shit goes on behind the scenes. You know, it's only the stuff that ends up leaking and getting out, but just the business we're in. We are in the tough guy business where, you know, some of the baddest human beings on earth run into each other backstage. Things are said, things are done, and it's our job to manage and control all this stuff to make sure that it doesn't, you know, blow up and get out of proportion and people don't get hurt. But we deal with this every Saturday on some sort of level.
One other incident that happened outside of the cage, outside of the event as well, rather. Jamahal Hill got arrested for domestic violence with his brother.
Yeah.
What do you know about that whole situation, and does that, you know, change his plans for a return to action?
I know nothing about it. I literally don't know anything. Obviously, it sounds like something between him and his brother. That's some family shit, and I'm sure they'll figure that out.
Got you. And what do you make of the PFL buying Bellator? PFL is now saying that they're the co-leader. They believe that the roster is comparable to the UFC's. So what do you make of the whole?
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I'm asking you.
No comment. You have no comment. You want me to comment? It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, good for them. I wish them all the luck in the world.
Very cool. And Oscar mentioned
I've covered this before. You must not have heard it. One shitty organization that sells no tickets and nobody watches buys another shitty organization that sells no tickets and nobody watches. Sounds like a fucking winner to me, boy. Right? Woo! Go, guys.
As Oscar mentioned.
What do you think?
Well, I think they have a pretty good roster. I don't know if it's on par with the UFC's, but I think they have a solid roster.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think of their ticket sales?
Hey, they're not running big arenas.
Huh?
They're not running big arenas or any arenas at all, really. So,
What do you think of their TV ratings?
that I don't know about. The deal with the
You
UFC,
cover the sport?
I do. I'm not sure about the ratings. That's why I didn't ask.
So you knew enough about it to ask me the question, but you don't know enough to answer the question.
Well, I didn't ask about the ratings.
I don't believe you, but okay.
Gotcha. As Oscar mentioned, the Note Boys podcast. In the background there, we kind of saw MVP's name on the board back there. Is he signed with the UFC?
Wow, you know a lot about a lot of things except ticket sales and TV ratings and all kinds of other stuff. You're that guy. You are that guy. What other questions do you have for me?
Tom Aspinall called for John Jones to get stripped of the title.
What did he do?
He called for John Jones to get stripped for the title, and apparently Daniel Cormier agreed with that. So what did you think? Because setting up a title fight with Aspinall.
The Stipe fight has to happen, yeah. Both of those guys deserve it. John, you got the greatest mixed martial artist of all time versus the greatest heavyweight of all time. They paid their dues. They've done their things. These two want to fight each other. It's going to happen. Whoever wins, we'll see what they decide to do after that, and then we'll go from there.
Gotcha. Last one for me, and I don't know anything about this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Strictly asking you.
Yeah.
What is the reason that the card from Shanghai got moved to Las Vegas? What was the reasoning behind that?
I don't even know. It's something that went on over in China, and we ended up moving it to the Apex. Nothing catastrophic or worth talking about.
And Dana over here. We were talking here after Arman's win, and we all thought, there was a clear picture at lightweights trying to be Charles and Islam. But after a performance like that, it seems like that's not as clear cut as it was. In those matchmaking meetings, does something like this just kind of throw a wrench into it, or what is that like?
It does. You definitely have to look at how he looked tonight, and I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And then I see in the background, obviously, UFC 30, it's been going on all year. You guys got Tim Duncan out of his shell. He was actually here tonight. Whenever you look at, just overall the fan support from, big stars like that, what is it like to see the growth of the sport in that way? Yeah, no,
it's awesome. I love it. I was talking about just the gate tonight. My team originally wanted to go somewhere else tonight. And I said, no, we're going to Austin, Texas. And, they were concerned, well, Texas is good this year. They'll probably end up in one of these games. And we came here anyway. We broke the record, sell out, biggest, sporting event ever. We're 1, 2, and 3 at Madison Square Garden. And the list goes on and on of all the records that have been broken since COVID. And, it's been a fun ride, man. It's been awesome.
And then Jalen Turner, he's had a rough, 2023, but came out big win, like you mentioned. No one finishes Bobby Green like that.
100%.
Tell me, what do you think about this kid, especially going now into 2024?
And taking the fight on 9 days' notice. So, yeah, incredible night for him. And I guarantee, well, it's up to you guys, but number 13 versus number 12. Number 12 beats number 13, but I'd say he moves up in the rankings in the way he finished that fight tonight. So, it was a great night for him. Rough week, but a great night.
Yeah. My last one for you. Clay Guida, I feel like he still looked good. He looked like he has a lot left. He's, 100 years old doing his thing. Tell me, what'd you think about his performance
I agree, man. And I was literally saying, to Rogan during the fight, how about the chin on him still? Like, the wars that guy's been in, and he still has a chin and still willing to mix it up and stand in the pocket and trade. And, he looked great tonight, especially against a young, well-rounded stud like Silva.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
Miesha Tate bounced back for a huge win in Austin. Her first win in 2 years. How did you think that she looked inside the cage tonight?
I think she looked great. Very dominant win for her tonight, too. And, it couldn't happen to a better person. I'm happy for her.
Do you think that kind of places her back in the title conversation? Because obviously the vacant title fight's going down, but she's one of the biggest names in that division. Do you think we could see her in the title fight soon?
Miesha? I don't know. We'll see.
And then we don't always see slam knockouts, but today we saw 2 of them back to back. What was your reaction to?
Yeah, we were freaking out about it. It's crazy. We were like, when's the last time you saw that happen? And then it happened again a couple fights later. So, yeah, insane night. Tonight was crazy.
Mm-hmm. And I have a question about UFC 296. Will Donald Trump be in attendance for Colby Covington's title fight?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Dana, right here.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep. Hey.
Quick question about Jalen Turner tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He said during the week about the Dan Hooker fight, he said something we don't hear a lot from fighters. He said, you know what, when I saw him in the hospital, I actually felt kind of bad for him. And then he goes out tonight and he puts about 10 unanswered shots on Bobby Green after he had just said
maybe 13.
After I felt bad with the Dan Hooker fight. So, like I said, we don't get to hear that often from fighters, so I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, compare him to a guy like Sean Strickland that loves to get in there, right?
No, it's true. This is a crazy business we're in. I mean, I'm sure you guys have covered the sport before and been there after a show and go, the fuck do I do for a living? This is madness. Believe me, I've been there many times. And, it's part of the game. It's true. It's literally true. I mean, I've done it myself. So I can imagine being the guy that actually inflicts the damage on someone else. It's a crazy game we're in.
And then a question about Power Slap. You had posted the video, I think, earlier this week, and you're always talking about numbers. It was the guy with the swollen face.
It's a promo.
It's
a promo for the reality show.
Last time I checked, I think the video's at 30 million views on
34
Instagram
million,
or something like that.
700,000 likes, and fucking crazy amount of comments too.
Yeah.
We dominate. Power Slap dominates social media and sports. There isn't anything. The thing that was closest to us up until last week was like the NFL, and it wasn't even football. It was Rihanna at the halftime show, by the time the end of the year happens, we might triple that number. Yeah, Power Slap dominates. This thing is a fucking juggernaut. It's insane.
Actually, I got one more. Your water fast that you did.
Yeah. It
seemed like a ridiculous amount of people were hitting you up and starting the fast themselves. Was there anybody that you could tell us that did it, as after you posted it?
It's probably the most viral thing I've ever done, other than Power Slap. I mean, it's crazy. Everywhere I go, people are asking me about it. You know who was here tonight? The founder and CEO of Kettle Fire Bone Broth came to the fight tonight. Apparently, it was very good for his business. He said the first thing that everybody was asking him is, how much did you pay him for that? He said, not only did I not pay him, I don't even know him, never even met him. All the shit that you see me do, nobody pays me for anything that I do on social media. I do stuff that I truly like or care about or think you should try or whatever. I don't get paid, but it did really well for their company. And they said that they were coming tonight and they wanted to meet me, and I was expecting this old guy to come in. They're young guys. They're like in their 20s, the 2 guys that founded and owned the company. And you ask any chef, Gary Brecka told me, but you ask any chef, they'll tell you it's the cleanest, best bone broth out there. And fucking thing was insane. But you should try it. This isn't some hippie shit that was made up. These are actually studies done by doctors. You do this thing twice a year, and it gives you over a 70% chance of not getting cancer, Alzheimer's, and a bunch of other nasty shit. So it's pretty cool.
Hey, Dana,
Yep.
Despite the madness of the sport, it's starting to become a family sport. Both with the fighters, we're seeing more of their kids on the embeds. Looks like the audience is becoming more families. I'm shocked my wife and daughter are here and love the sport now.
Awesome.
I never expected that to happen. Did you ever see that coming, that it was going to become a family sport? And if so, how in the world did you make it happen because it usually don't see that in combat
Well,
sports.
I did believe. Two reasons. First, number one, boxing was when I was a kid. I mean, I grew up and became a big boxing fan because my uncles would watch it, and everybody in the house would watch it when there was a big fight. And the other reason is that when you think about boxing, growing up a boxing fan, you didn't just go out and do boxing. It wasn't like that growing up. But this actually ended up becoming a martial art. Like when you and I grew up, family would put you in karate or taekwondo or something. This is the new martial art that men, women, and children are taking all over the world. So it absolutely makes sense.
You and Elon Musk both have let people know there's no way they're going to bribe you with threats to be silent about how you feel about who to vote for or who to support. Do you think they start listening? Meaning the companies that have tried to use that pressure. Does the market make them get back to just doing business?
I don't know, but I think there's more people than just me and Elon now that feel that way. It's like, just because you sponsor us doesn't mean you run this business, and you're definitely not telling me what to do. That's a fact. That's never going to happen, ever. So I've got this new mindset. I look at sponsorships like relationships, like being in a relationship with somebody. If I got to be in a relationship with somebody for 6 years, we better be aligned, and we better, think and feel the same way. Or you do your thing. Do whatever you do. But don't ever fucking call me and tell me what you want me to do because you sponsor us. That is never going to happen. So if that's the type of person that you are, don't even bother trying to sponsor the UFC.
Last question. Any chance that super fight is Musk? And after Rogan's interview
I'll give
with
you
him,
a definite no on that one. Yeah. No, thank you. And thanks for bringing your family. That's it? All right. Have a good night, guys. Thanks.